This little baby was born not long ago. A pair of chicken wings grew out of his back.
C'est bien, Ricky. Oh, c'est bien. C'est bien.
If you ask why he is so strange, it must have something to do with his mom and dad. His parents both work in a chemical plant. They were exposed to chemical radiation for a long time. It is inevitable that the child born will have some differences. And Ricky's mom was so happy at the time. She thought, I've given birth to a little angel. Mom was worried that Ricky would fly away like a balloon, put him in the crib, and then she covered him with a sheet. And finally, she put a clip on it. It was like a little bird cage, and my sister was a little distressed about my brother. She said let's take him to the doctor quickly, but my mother refused without even thinking about it. She also told her sister not to tell anyone about it. She was worried that if people knew about it, someone with bad intentions would hurt Ricky. Within a few days, Ricky's wings were obviously bigger again. He was fluttering and fluttering. His clothes were almost bursting. Mom took out a ruler to measure the length of his wings. She found that he had grown 8 centimeters in a week. She tried to fix the flapping wings with tape, but it didn't work. Don't look at the small wings. They were quite strong. As Ricky grew bigger and bigger, his wings are getting bigger and even grew feathers. Mom didn't want to go to the doctor, but she wanted to find out what was happening to Ricky's body. She went to the library and borrowed books on birds. She studied the structure of the wings. She even went to the supermarket to study the wings of turkeys, to prevent Ricky from accidentally hurting himself while flying. Mom used foam to make a simple set of protective equipment. She also bought him a minimal safety helmet. Little Ricky's wings have grown, fluttered a few times, and really flew.
C'est bien.
Ricky wanted to touch the chandelier. Mom was worried about burning him. She told her sister to turn off the light, but Ricky seemed to be very sensitive to light. He turned his head and flew towards the window.
Il est bien, mon Ricky. Ça va, Ricky? Ça va? Tu t'es pas fait mal? Comment, mon bébé, ça va?
Ricky fell down, but fortunately, he only had a little bruise on his wing. Mom gave him a little medicine, will be fine. But what's even more amazing is that, since Ricky turned into an angel, also brought blessings to the family. They bought a lottery ticket and won the lottery for the first time. To celebrate, Mom decided to take the 2 siblings to the supermarket. And when they were happy shopping, they turned around and found that Ricky was gone. There was only a jacket wrapped around his wings on the ground. And then they looked up. Oh no! A flying baby appeared in the supermarket. The audience at the bottom were all stunned. Some people raised their cell phones to take pictures. There are also shopkeepers to report to the boss. The funniest one is the old man.
Pour le bébé télécommandé, c'est
Mom and sister all the way to run wild. She was not only worried about Ricky's tiredness of flying, she was worried about flying too high and almost hitting the lights on the roof. Ricky didn't listen to his mother at all. The supermarket sent security guards to climb up the ladder, but still could not reach. Finally, Mom asked the manager to turn off the lights on the roof, because Ricky is sensitive to light. When the lights go out, he will land himself. Sure enough, as the lights gradually went out, Ricky regained his composure. He also lowered his altitude. After that, he was caught and forcibly taken to the hospital. The doctor was stunned to see Ricky. He said he had never seen anything like it, advised his mother to stay in the hospital for observation, for further study, and the mother decisively refused the doctor's advice. He was afraid that his child to become a guinea pig for scientific research. Mom was ready to leave with Ricky in her arms, but reporters came at once with the news. They turned on the flash and took pictures like crazy, forcing the family of 3 to escape through an emergency exit under the cover of the doctor. They had to escape from the emergency exit under the cover of the doctor, but when they got home, they didn't even have a chance to enter the front door. They were stopped by the neighbors who were busy. One strange aunt reached out to touch Ricky. Then another wave of reporters rushed over. The scene was very chaotic. They had a hard time getting home. The TV was also showing the news about Ricky. There was even an interview with a neighbor who said,
Bébé, mais bon, je me serais jamais douté qu'il était bizarre.
Early the next morning, there was a crowd of people downstairs. The TV trucks were coming. They were all eager to do something. They were waiting to make a big story. When Dad brought the doctor to the house for a consultation, hoping to surgically remove Ricky's wings, but the doctor said that if he had to do the surgery, would cause Ricky a lot of pain. But if the surgery is not done, Ricky was likely to die tragically. Ricky's wings were getting bigger and bigger. He would accidentally hurt himself while flying. There was no room for for him in the small house. Then Ricky's father came up with an idea. He said, why don't we cooperate with those reporters? Let them take a few pictures of Ricky. We get paid for it, and then we could get a bigger house. Ricky was our kid anyway. It's a lot of money for nothing. Mom was a little hesitant at first, but in the end, she was convinced. Then the father contacted the reporter. After the price was agreed upon, the reporters set up their cameras. When Mom carried Ricky downstairs, the family was interviewed by the reporters like stars under numerous flashing lights. Dad also tied a rope to Ricky's feet and let Ricky fly one for everyone to see. Mom's hands were tied. Ricky drifted like a kite, flying higher and higher, almost flew over the roof of the building. But then an accident happened. Little winged baby had a string tied to his foot. The other end was in his mother's hand. I've seen kite flying before, but I'd never seen a kite being flown by a child of my own. At this moment, the mother accidentally let go of the string. The baby flew into the sky without looking back. Seeing the baby flying into the distance, everyone rushed after him. Ricky flew to the surface of a lake, then flew higher and higher and further away. Looked at their own child, no trace of. The mother stood by the lake and shouted in despair, "Ricky!" Everyone scattered, leaving the family of three standing helplessly in the same place and kept calling out Ricky's name. Time went by. Mom sat by the lake until dusk, but there was still no sign of Ricky. Then they distributed notices on the street. They also put Ricky's picture on the telephone pole, but it was a needle in a haystack. Mom lost Ricky. She didn't even want to go to work anymore. She just stood by the window and stared at nothing, as if she was waiting for Ricky to come back. This day she was at home eating a meal. She heard the sound of wings stirring outside the window. Thinking that Ricky was back, she went to the window excitedly, only to find that it was just a flock of seagulls. Mom couldn't accept the fact that Ricky had left. She went back to the lake. She took off her shoes and walked into the lake. She was about to be submerged in the lake, but she didn't want to stop. She closed her eyes, breathing heavier and heavier. But suddenly she heard the sound of wings stirring. She looked up and saw there was her Ricky in front of her. Mom rushed to the shore. She saw that Ricky's wings had grown so big, with a big and mysterious smile on her face. Now Ricky looked like a real angel. Mom apologized to him and said I shouldn't have let go of the rope in the first place. Begged Ricky to stay with him, but Ricky didn't stay. He waved his wings and flew away again. Maybe for Ricky now, Mom's overwhelming motherly love, but it is an invisible bondage. And the wide, free sky is the best place for him. Then Mom got pregnant again. It seems she has let go of the past. She was ready for a new life. It's the best ending for everyone. The movie is called Ricky. On the surface, it's a fantasy story about family, but behind the scenes is a sad story and a cruel human being. There are many horrible details in the film. For example, look at this shot. The sister looks at Ricky, who is doted on by his mother, with a fierce look in her eyes. She bites down on a chicken wing, as if in the bite Ricky's wings. This look clearly jealous of the mother's preference for Ricky. In addition, about why Ricky will grow wings, although the film does not positively explain, but there is a detail revealed. Mom works in a chemical plant and was exposed to chemical radiation soon after the birth of Ricky, so there is some speculation that Ricky with wings is actually just a fantasy of the mother. The real Ricky was exposed to radiation in the womb, caused by physical deformity long ago, unfortunately died, because the mother could not face the cruel reality, finally chose to disappear. No matter how to interpret the film, the final choice is up to you. Two endings, one light and one dark. Which one do you prefer to believe in?